Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gabe Sayers Believer. Happy 1,000 subscribers. We did it together. We did it as a family. We did it as a team. And I'm so happy for all of my believers to be here with me right now as we celebrate our 1,000 subscribers. As you can see, webcam's new. I thought we had to evolve now that we hit the 1K, and that's what we got to do. We got to continue to evolve. We got to continue to get better, bigger, badder, more fun content. And what else is fun than talking about quarterbacks? It's really how this entire channel started, was quarterbacks to begin with. So let's talk more about quarterbacks. How about the three greatest quarterbacks of all time? Without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, this is based on fact, not opinion. This is the three greatest quarterbacks of all time. Thank you guys again so much for 1,000 subscribers. This channel has surged in popularity. This channel has been with me through a lot. I know it's a relatively new channel for me, but I've been doing YouTube for years, and I've never seen this kind of success before on YouTube, so obviously it's a huge blessing for me, and it means the most to me. I've worked with this channel through homelessness, through finishing college, through starting new jobs, through running my own wrestling company. I've been doing a lot, and we still get it going on the Gabe Sayers Believer, because my believers motivate me to keep grinding, keep pushing out content, and keep making sure that I got something for y'all to watch. So, three of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time coming to you right now. Number one on our list, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time as well. We're talking about Taylor Heinicke. Now, Taylor Heinicke is the definition of resilience and the definition of grit. Born March 15th, 1993 in Lawrenceville, Georgia, Taylor Heinicke grew up for a love of the game and just had a reputation of competitiveness. He attended Old Dominion University, where he actually became the face of their football program and put the school on the map, frankly. As a starter, Heinicke was smashing records, had a crazy 700-yard performance, and he just, over that college career, just had an outstanding career. Over 14,000 passing yards, over 130 touchdowns, just solidified himself as one of the best passers in that school's history. But despite that college dominance, Heinicke actually went undrafted in 2015 and would sign with the Minnesota Vikings as a free agent. His first years in the NFL were truly a grind: backup duties, preseason appearances, and just practice squad assignments. He would suffer a freak injury in 2016 after accidentally cutting his foot trying to kick open a door, which actually cost him a season. Over the next few years, Heinicke would bounce around the league, spending time on the Patriots, Texans, Panthers, but his time on the Panthers actually included his first career start in 2018 against the Falcons, where he would actually throw for 274 yards and a touchdown before leaving with an elbow injury. After a brief stint in the XFL with the St. Louis Battlehawks in 2020, where he actually served as a backup, Heinicke's time would finally surge. Now, I'm talking late 2020, prime COVID. Taylor Heinicke would join the Washington football team when our quarterback room was depleted. He would truly have the turning point of his career here, and he would join the Commanders/football team/Redskins in December when starter Alex Smith was ruled out of the NFC wildcard playoff game against the Bucs, and Heinicke was just thrust into the spotlight. Facing Tom Brady and the eventual Super Bowl champion Bucs, Heinicke delivered one of the most memorable performances from a backup in playoff history, throwing for 306 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for 46 yards and had that insane highlight reel diving touchdown that will forever live in Washington memory as just a great, beautiful moment to just define the resilience and the grit of the fan base. The 2021 season really was the peak of Heinicke's career when Ryan Fitzmagic suffered a hip injury in Week 1. Heinicke took over and started 15 games. He would actually throw for 3,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. He added another 300 rushing yards while doing that. Now, I know his numbers didn't exactly place him among elite quarterbacks, let's just say, but his scrambling to extend plays, threading risky but exciting passes, and playing with just true, visible emotion made him just such a fan favorite and beloved by our fan base. Heinicke's defining stretch came in mid-season when we went on a 4-game winning streak, including an upset over Tom Brady's Bucs, where Taylor Heinicke had a great game and did a great job of controlling the clock. Some of his other standout moments from that season include a nice last-second win over the New York Giants in Week 2, which is a total clusterfuck, and even a crazy 3-touchdown performance against the Falcons, capped off by a gutsy game-winning drive. And then I think after 2021, Heinicke kind of got slept on. He kind of got bringing in Carson Wentz was a little bit of a slap in the face to Heinicke, in my opinion, and I think Heinicke should have been the clear starter. I don't think Carson Wentz was the play at all there. But even then, he remained with Washington, and he kind of remained through the bullshit with us in 2022 and was able to still start a bunch of games. But in 2023, he would sign with the Atlanta Falcons, and he split some time there with Desmond Ridder, and then was actually traded to the Chargers most recently. And, truly, I miss Taylor Heinicke. I want Taylor Heinicke back on my Commanders. I understand that Marcus Mariota is probably the best option as QB2. But man, I miss Heinicke. I miss the aura he brought, and I absolutely adore Taylor Heinicke. Next on our list, ladies and gentlemen, is Kevin Hogan. Hailing from Stanford University, Kevin Hogan is a former NFL quarterback, journeyman backup, born on October 20th, 1992 in McLean, Virginia. Hogan would start at Gonzaga College High School and then would eventually, like I said, go to Stanford University, where he became one of the most successful quarterbacks in that program history. He actually followed Andrew Luck up, and he compiled a 36-10 record as a starter and led them to some big Rose Bowl victories, and he was just known for being mobile, intelligent, and he left Stanford as the school's all-time winningest quarterback and got himself at the top of some of those passing rankings next to Andrew Luck. Hogan was selected in the 5th round of the 2016 NFL Draft by the Kansas City Chiefs and actually got cut super quickly into his Chief career, but was snagged by the Browns because, they're always trying to grab some fucking quarterbacks. Browns would snag him, and he made his debut Week 7 of the 2016 season against the Bengals, coming in for an injured Cody Kessler. And in that game, Hogan displayed some ability, having a really long rushing touchdown, and really, giving the Browns a little bit of hope during that. The 2017 season was arguably Hogan's most active season, as we'll say. He started one game and appeared in several others for the Browns during a winless season. And in Week 5 against the Jets, Hogan actually replaced Kessler and completed 16 of 19 of his passes for nearly 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Gave the Browns their first lead of the season as well, which was huge. And that performance earned him a start the following week against the Texans. And he got killed by the Texans, unfortunately. Those Texans had a good, strong defense, and they just smacked the shit out of them. Hogan's 2017 campaign, showed some flashes of the pan of what he could do. He finished with 517 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 picks, while also adding, 71 more rushing yards. Following that stint in Cleveland, Hogan would bounce around the league, spending time with Washington, Broncos, Bengals, in a backup or practice squad role. And while he was never a traditional franchise quarterback, I loved Kevin Hogan for his fearlessness. I loved him coming out of Stanford as the next, I was joking, he was the next Andrew Luck. That was my bit. That was my joke. And I've always been a big fan of Kevin Hogan's game. I love the slightly inathletic white guy going out there just trying to ball, trying to do his thing. And I always thought Kevin Hogan was going to be a total star in the NFL. But now he is my favorite backup quarterback of all time, because Taylor Heinicke is more than just a backup quarterback. Remember that. He's often called upon with, little to no notice. And, Kevin Hogan, he would go in there and he'd fucking fight. At the end of the day, you can't tell me that Kevin Hogan wouldn't go in there and just fight. Now, last on our list, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest quarterback of all time is Gabe Sayers. Now, Gabe Sayers was born February 19th, 2003 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and actually was a star in the Eastern Connecticut State University College Flag Football Intramural League. Now, Gabe's time as a college flag football quarterback was a little bit of a rough one in the beginning of his freshman year season. During his freshman year season, the Big Chunguses were having a little bit of quarterback problems, with the starter Joe Stavallone, who was also the head coach of the team, thrusting himself into the starting role after saying that we needed to be a short pass team and then chucking it deep constantly. But Joe Stavallone would eventually relieve his duties to Gabe in the middle of the game, but after a touchdown and after an interception, Gabe was relieved of his duties as well in that game. Now, in the following games, the Chunguses were experimenting with different quarterbacks. Joe Stavallone came in for a little bit. Anthony Picone came in for a little bit. There were a lot of different quarterbacks. Even Jason Belligeron was taking a snap at quarterback. But Gabe Sayers became the starter after a really strong second half performance in our Week 3 game of the Big Chungus season. After that, Gabe became the full-time starter for the rest of the season, and Gabe actually led the Chunguses to 2 wins that season, which was, again, really happy and really impressive for a team of pretty much all freshmen that didn't really know what they were doing and kind of just battling it out in the league. One of those wins was against the rival Hall Burnap kids. Eat that L, Burnap. And the other one was against a random team of people where Gabe was actually high before the game and asked one of the girls for her number during the game. I don't really know why. Gabe got that number, though. Don't worry. Gabe's freshman year season actually was a positive one. I think it was like probably like a 3 to 4 touchdown to 1 pick ratio, doing pretty good. Mostly a short pass guy, but would occasionally show a little flash with his cannon and whip out a deep ball here and there for the hose. Gabe's sophomore year season started off really well actually, as the team started 2-0, but quickly fell apart after Gabe faced his first zone coverage in flag football and had a really rough game. Then the starting role would kind of get flipped and switched around a little bit, and then Gabe's heart issues eventually took him out of the league and out of the game, and Gabe was forced to kind of sit on the back burner a little bit during the rest of that season and did not really start too many games after the second half of the season. Junior year was a similar story with the heart issues, but actually Gabe came in for receiver at the end of the year and was able to catch a couple touchdown passes. But fear not, the resurgence came senior year. Gabe, being a free agent quarterback, they didn't really expect much of a market for him, especially after a quiet sophomore and junior year. But a team called One Win that was seeking exactly what you thought, One Win, a team that had not won in their first 2 years of flag football, called the number and signed Gabe to a 1-year contract, his final year at Eastern Connecticut State University. In this final year, Gabe would actually start, I think, 7 out of 8 games at quarterback, and had a really, really fun season. Head coach RJ would sign Gabe, and Gabe immediately started practicing with the team, trying to develop a connection with some targets like Chase, like Sean, even RJ himself, Kevon. And that team actually had the most success Gabe's ever had in flag football. That team would actually end up having a 4-3 or a 5-4. It was some positive record that led us into the playoffs. And that was the first time in Gabe Sayers' flag football career that he led a team to a positive record. And the team around him was playing well as well. Nice notable win against a undefeated team who ended up, I think, getting to the semifinals of the Flag Football League that we ended up beating during the regular season, and we were out there fighting and dueling with most teams. Gabe really was a short pass guy, but then would occasionally surprise people with some of those deep balls, and Gabe would really put a little zip onto some of them deep balls when he had to, and was definitely a slant demon though. I love a post route and I love a slant. That and pitches. So Gabe actually became a little bit more of a mobile quarterback during his senior season as he was putting on a little muscle and learning how to run again. And, had a really fun senior season. Even made the playoffs and was able to end his career as a flag football quarterback on a true high note and a true top. The goal was 1 win, and I think we ended up leaving with 5. So you know what? That's a successful season in my books. And Gabe Sayers is now a retired flag football quarterback. But you never know. Maybe a 1-game contract will get signed. You all have to let me know in the comments if you'd want to see that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys again so much for your support. Getting us that 1,000 subscribers, helping us grind, hustle, build the believers, build this family, bringing it all together. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to waste any more of y'all time. I just can't thank you guys enough. Please share the channel around with your friends. Let's really just build this up. Share this with people you think would like it. We're a family here, and we gotta act like it. So I need y'all help to make this a fucking movement right here. Thank you guys again so much. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor, and I will see all of you guys again very, very soon. Make sure you smoke crack, eat drywall, and I'll see you guys again in the next video.